In the early 1970s, Nigeria was in a state of flux. The scars of the civil war were still fresh, the economy was uncertain, and crime was slowly beginning to claw its way into the heart of society. Amid this chaos, one man's name would strike terror across the nation: Dr. Ishola Oyenusi, infamously known as Dr. Rob and Kill. Not much is known about Oyenusi's early life. He was born in Nigeria, reportedly into a humble family. Some say he once claimed to be a medical doctor, hence the doctor in his name, but there's little evidence he ever had a real medical license. It's widely believed he gave himself the title to command fear and respect. That, or to mask his violent identity behind the illusion of education. Oyenusi began his criminal career modestly: petty thefts, minor scams. But as the years went by, his ambition outgrew small crimes. The man who once claimed he turned to robbery because his girlfriend needed money found himself drawn deeper into the violent underworld. By the early 1970s, Dr. Oyenusi had assembled a deadly gang. He wasn't just a robber, he was an orchestrator of violence. His gang specialized in armed robberies, especially targeting banks, factories, and car owners. He was ruthless. If you stood in his way, he didn't hesitate to pull the trigger. He became infamous for attacking in broad daylight. His gang would operate with military precision, sometimes dressed in uniforms to avoid suspicion. Their operations were fast, brutal, and bloody. In an era before CCTV or modern policing methods, Oyenusi was almost untouchable. One chilling aspect of Oyenusi's crimes was how he handled victims. He was known to say, "I rob to please myself, not to please anybody. I enjoy robbing. I derive joy and satisfaction in mounting the operation." These weren't the words of a man desperate for money. These were the words of someone who had fallen in love with power and fear. Oyenusi's fall came, as it often does with such figures, from overconfidence. In March 1971, he and his gang stole a car from a man and shot him dead in the process. The car belonged to a senior staff member of the Nigerian Postal Services. It was a mistake. That single murder set off a chain reaction that the gang couldn't stop. The police, under the then relatively new military regime, launched a manhunt. Slowly, his gang members were captured. Some confessed, others led authorities to hideouts. Eventually, Dr. Oyenusi himself was caught. His arrest was a media sensation. Newspapers across Nigeria ran headlines about the feared doctor finally being in handcuffs. The public, tired of living in fear, wanted justice. In September 1971, just months after his capture, Dr. Oyenusi was sentenced to death by a firing squad. The military regime at the time believed in swift justice for crimes that endangered national security. On September 8, 1971, Oyenusi and 6 members of his gang were taken to Bar Beach in Lagos, the infamous execution ground. It was a public event. Thousands of spectators gathered, some climbing trees just to get a glimpse. The media was there. Cameras rolled. Dr. Oyenusi was dressed in a simple shirt and trousers. As soldiers tied him to the stake, he reportedly wept, no longer the cocky man who once laughed in the face of danger. He was executed along with his gang. The firing squad took their positions, and when the shots rang out, so did the final echoes of Dr. Oyenusi's reign of terror. Dr. Oyenusi's story is more than a criminal tale. It's a symbol of what happens when society allows crime to thrive in chaos, a cautionary tale about unchecked power, desperation, and the allure of violence. In the decades since his death, his name has become folklore, used to scare kids, referenced in music and movies, and remembered as one of Nigeria's most dangerous criminals.